Are your team clear on what their rules of the game are? What do I mean with that? My name is Nell, I'm an action coach, business coach, and imagine this, the game of football, although with a twist, because in this case, there's no white lines. There's no goals on the side, yet we're somehow going to score points. No one's explained how it's going to score points and how many people are in a team and how do we know that people are on different teams? Be a bit chaos, right? The same thing could be said for your teams in your businesses. What do I mean with that? If you have never sat down with your team and explained, these are our rules of the game, this is what's important, this is how we are going to do things, then how do they know? People bring in their experiences from previous positions, previous businesses, which is great, but then we could have a mutiny, right? Because some person does something like this, another person does something like this, and that consistency could create a really awkward atmosphere over a long period of time. So we often work with the tight, loose points of culture. And what does that look like? And it goes back to that football game. It makes much more sense when the rules have been explained in advance. These are the white lines. These are the goals. This is how we score goals. We have two teams on the field. There's lots of rules around how you can play, what's foul, what's right. The offside rule makes no sense to anyone. Let's be honest. But you could have the same for your business. And yet, when you look back to the game of football, people still play it very differently. The formation of how the team works or is set up could be very different. So taking that back into your business, if you haven't got any at all, look at your values. Let's start with your values. What are the values that your team needs to adhere to? And I use that like this because I'm not saying get a dictatorship, but what are the values that you have for your business that are important? And there's 3 values I often talk to clients about, which are the values that you have as a business towards your clients, the values that you have as a business towards your team, and then the values in general that could be around the behaviors. So if you haven't got any at all, that would be a great starting point. Now use those to set your rules of the game. And if you haven't got any mapped out whatsoever, then get your team to help you with this. Sit down and make it into a fun workshop. What are our rules? What are the non-negotiables? How do we do this? If someone is off sick, who picks up stuff? Who does this when this doesn't happen, etc. Help them set the rules around who's accountable and then pour that into what are our points of culture. And how do we live them on a day-to-day basis? And it could be as simple as, and we often hear them in corporates, and you might kind of go, gosh, it is a little bit corporate speak around maybe excellence or consistency. But what does that mean on a day-to-day basis in your business? How can we make sure that you deliver consistently as a team? How do we pick that up when someone is not there? How do we make sure that we hold each other accountable to that? And once you get the team's help to set these rules of the game for them, because they have to live them day by day as much as you would do. If you get their buy-in, it becomes easier to go, how do we hold each other accountable? How do we make this happen as a team? And then that little grumbling of this person does this, or that person never puts their cup of tea away, or whatever that may be. What are the rules of the game in your business to create a great working environment, but to still keep delivering those points of culture on a day-to-day basis? So what do yours look like? Go and run that exercise with your team. Let us know what has come out of that and what kind of points of culture have you set.